I have to admit I was pretty surprised when I saw the headline pass the wires today. First of all, I didn't realize Colin Powell was 84 years old. He looked great for a man in his at his age, it seemed to me. I was surprised that he was that old, certainly surprised that he had passed away. Former chair of the Joint Chiefs, Secretary of State, all of these things. Joining me to discuss this sad news, General McGuire, an Arizona Senate candidate, former head of the Arizona National Guard. Sir, good to have you here. You served in the Gulf War, you said, so you have I guess, a more intimate relationship, even though you didn't know him personally, but you served in his sphere. Is that a fair way to put it?
Yeah, it is. Thanks for having me, Steve. And first, I think, as you mentioned in the opening, Colin Powell was a great American. I think every general officer like myself, retired generals currently serving, look at him as somebody who had it. He was exuded confidence. He exhibited extreme confidence, but never overconfidence. And it's sad on his passing. Relative to my experience with him, I was a young lieutenant in August of '90 when we deployed over to the Gulf as an F-16 pilot. I was flying F-16s at the time in the Air Force. And I can remember in the first 90 days seeing a press conference he did with President H.W. Bush, where he out loud said, ultimately, if we need to conduct this attack, we were going to cut off the Iraqi army and then kill it in Kuwait. And I knew as an F-16 pilot that on January 17th, when we started, we had confident leaders there, as well as with General Schwarzkopf, a man who I did get the opportunity to meet during the war.
It's interesting. He served Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, George W. Bush in different capacities for all of those presidents. Each time the first black American to serve in the position of National Security Advisor, Secretary of State, and all these chairman of the Joint Chiefs, all of these different high-level, high-security, high-respect positions. But then in 2008, he endorsed Barack Obama for president late in that campaign. So he was a guy willing to speak his mind. He was not pleased about what had happened as far as weapons of mass destruction. He said, even recently I heard him comment that that was the intelligence available in 2001, and he was, I think, angry through the rest of his life because of that not being accurate. Do you think that's fair?
Well, I don't know him personally. What I can say to you is that when we look at what's happening today, vice then, I can tell you as a young lieutenant in the summer of 1990, I did not look at Colin Powell as the first black chairman of the Joint Chiefs. I looked at him as the Joint Chiefs, the chairman, the guy that was the best officer, exuded the confidence. That's what this country is about. It's not about canonizing immutable characteristics. It's about putting the people that have the greatest capability, and he exuded extreme confidence. I think in my case, Steve, I retired back in April, and you look at what's happening with General Milley today, he's become part of the story. I keep saying that the American people have lost confidence, because when you go beyond extreme confidence into overconfidence, it shows. And I never saw that with General Powell when he was serving. Subsequent to that, like myself, I'm in this U.S. Senate race in Arizona. I understand now I'm going to be part of the battering of the partisan role, but I look at George Washington's role in saying that he didn't want to politicize the uniform 233 years ago. And so I'm doing the same. And it was a tough thing for General Powell, I think, once he left uniform to serve in an appointed capacity. I think we've seen that with a number of generals. Look at General Austin and General Mattis. It's a very, very challenging place to be.
Yeah, it is a challenging place to be. Or Dwight Eisenhower. It's a difficult place to make that transition, that's for sure. But Colin Powell, not afraid to speak his mind, whether you agreed or disagreed. It was based on his experience. It was based on, I think, an honest evaluation. And I've heard so many people say today, a guy that truly believed in this country, didn't believe in excuses. And I would wonder, while China's building hypersonic missiles and we are worried about pronouns, I wonder what his thoughts would have been on that at this critical time in our history. But certainly a leader throughout his entire life. I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, I agree with that. He was a great leader. He exhibited extreme confidence. I tried to emulate those characteristics. I'm the great leader that we need in Arizona to defeat Mark Kelly. That's why I'm in this race, Steve. That's why I'm in this race. And I will tell you, Colin Powell believed in his oath to protect and defend the Constitution over party, individual, or principle. And while he and I might not have agreed on everything subsequent to his retirement, I can tell you when he served, he was a great American, and we all owe him a great debt of gratitude. He was a trailblazer, but no one remembers him as the first black chairman. They just remember him as a great general officer. So I think that's an important lesson for all Americans. And that's why I'm in this race. We got to get back to that in this nation.
Be Americans first. I agree with you on that, General. Be Americans first. And I think that's what Colin Powell exemplified in all of his roles, both in the military and in a civilian capacity. Sir, thank you for being here. I greatly appreciate your time.
Thanks, Steve. You have a great afternoon.
There you go. We'll have more on Colin Powell still ahead on the program, but first we'll check in on Southwest Airlines and other headlines of the day here on America's Voice Live as we continue.